1. What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us?
SPEAKROC, that's the team that I'm with. SPEAKROC, don't it make a lot of sense? SPEAKROC, yeah, we speak to each other. Hey, young man, be a brother to another, Put the other things aside, throw away the fakeness. All my brothers got the key to achieve greatness. Let nobody bring you down when you tryna reach the top. Let them know what you represent, tell them SPEAKROC. Let's make a change for the best. Let your voice be heard, let your words be expressed. Brothers and sisters, set a goal to the top. If anybody got your back, let them know it's SPEAKROC.
Hey, yo, Guap, that was dope. Hey, just gotta keep telling them what it is out here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you already know, man.
Hey, we doing this one for the D. What up, though?
What up, though?
Yo, what up, though? What up, though? What up, though, brothers and sisters? This is your brother, SPEAKROC. Hey, this is a wonderful day. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I'm feeling good because I got a good topic that I want to talk about today. And as always, y'all know I'm not talking by myself. I got my brother on the line with me that's always in position to be a blessing to SPEAKROC Nation. My brother E.T., the extraordinary teacher, my man, Mr. Eric Thompson. What up, though, sir?
What up, though? What's going on, sir? Man, it's good to be back, man. I think we owe the nation an apology for not being. I don't know if this is the. I know we didn't facilitate any dialogue last week, but I hope they're feasting off of some of the things we have said in the past, and rewinding, revisiting, hearing some of those other topics, and being able to see what SPEAKROC going to do this year. I'm just extremely excited of what's going to happen. I know some great things are coming down the pike, not only for this platform, but I know for you personally, elevation is about to take place, and we're so godly proud of all the things that God is doing through you. It's just every time that I get a chance to speak with you or talk to you at length, I hear more and more of the anointing oil being poured on you, and which does my heart very well to see how God is elevating you in this dispensation. And I just wanted to publicly tell you how proud I am in front of the nations, and let the nations know you're just not somebody that's speaking in a mic on Saturday mornings, but you're speaking in front of the people on a daily basis.
Oh, man, I appreciate that, man. It does my heart good. It does my spirit good to know that my brother is, takes notice and appreciates, what God is doing in my life. And if I say anything, that's what I want to always share that with the people. I want us to be connected by knowing that when you see any elevation or any increase or any prosperity in my life, I want everybody to know that, I want them to marvel at God or what God is doing. God is making it happen. And I'm just a tool and a vessel, in which God chooses to do it through. And with that being said, God is doing the same thing in all of our lives. Like, as long as you're willing and you put yourself in a position, and I've made a social media post on this. I said, look, God don't need your perfection. He needs your yes. And, everybody's waiting to be so perfect to get things done. I mean, I understand excellence. I get it. I understand being perfect in things. Everybody want to get an A+ on something. I get that. But guess what? And when you're talking about doing supernatural things, and you're talking about doing things for the masses, and you're talking about allowing for miracles to happen, which a lot of us always call out for, look, those things are going to be done through the strength of God. So put yourself, with all your imperfections and your weaknesses, put yourself in a position for God to make himself strong and work through you, and then you will see that perfection and that excellence and so forth and so forth. And people will look at you and applaud you, but what you should always admonish the people to do is to applaud and celebrate God and give him glory and honor, because without him, who all would we be? Eric, you got me preaching, and I'm trying to do something right now. I'm trying to get to the topic of what we talking about today. But with that being said, I appreciate you, man. As always, I love you. And look, you said something earlier about, we apologize to Speak Rock Nation. But I would say this: we don't owe them an apology, because we did set them up. We did tell them that when we came back in 2019, we was going to have something special for them, and we do. And so let's go hurry up and get to it. Eric, you have written 2 books. God has, written the books through you, right? And one of them that I want to get to, and you had, you said yes, and you really, wanted to participate in this. And I believe this is going to help the masses, more than what it's already done. And that book is called The Balancing Act, First Things First. And what I believe that this book is going to help us in this year and beyond to be more organized, more structured, more purposeful in getting things done. And I came to you and I said to you, hey, look, for the direction in which I'm going, I need this. I need more of the understanding of this book. So this is what we're going to do. I want everybody to pay attention. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description on how to get this book, because what you're going to want to do is follow. You're going to want to read and make this part of your daily reading and get this in you. Not just listen to me, Eric and I chop it up. That's just part of it, because we're not going to give away the whole book, and speak. because we're not going to do that, because it's a tool that you're going to want to have on you. Lectures are fine, but, anybody who's taking any kind of college course, you understand, yeah, you got the lecture, you got, what I'm saying, the theory, and then you got practical application. You need to have the tools and the resources that it's going to take to be able to grasp or understanding. And a lot of things you got to, believe it or not, some things are so deep and so profound that you have to read it over and over again and meditate on it over and over again. It's just like reading the Bible. You ain't going to read the Bible once and be like, I got it. No, it don't work like that. So, once again, I'm going to put a link in the description. It's called The Balancing Act, First Things First. And Eric, I'm going to lead you with this. I want to hear what was your purpose in writing this book? And, give me some insight on what happened to motivate you to put pen to paper to make this happen. Go ahead, E.
Well, praise God. I just bless God for that intro. It's all the Lord. I truly believe the Balancing Act, First Things First, was birthed out of heaven. God just was sharing with me. The interesting thing how it happened too. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. I was asked to teach a class. I think a month class or something at my church. And I can't remember the title, but it had something to do with balance. It may have been something had to do with balance. I can't remember. But anyway, so we were teaching this particular class, and I was studying and getting all of this stuff ready for the class, and then I recognized God was really writing the Balancing Act, First Thing First, through me at that time. And when they asked me to do one of the leaders of the church asked me to teach on this class, and I'm thinking, gee, that's I don't normally kind of flow in that area or whatever, but as I was preparing my heart, as God was sharing information with me for the class, for the instruction of the class, and there he began to speak to me about writing this book, The Balancing Act, First Things First, because he shared with me, this is what he shared with me, he said, because most people are all out of proper alignment. That most people are out of proper alignment. If you know anything about alignment on like a physical car, if you need an alignment, front end, a real alignment or whatever, you recognize that you can get to a place even if your car is out of alignment, but it may compromise something in getting there. It may compromise the integrity of the car, the wheels, the how it operates. So you may get to your destination, but you may not get there in a flawless, effortless, less struggle, less headache, less issues if you're not in proper balance. And this is what God said. He said most people are either doing too much or doing too little, and God said, I'm going to give you some biblical wisdom and practical application how to instruct them to balance an unbalanced life.
Man, this is so this information that's in this book is going to be, it's so applicable to, like you said, life. And what I'm catching out of what you're saying is that you didn't just say, you will be out of alignment in church. You didn't say you'll be out of alignment in school. You didn't just say you'll be out of alignment at home. You said life in its totality. That's all things. And that's just so powerful. Like when you was given the information from God about getting in alignment, getting in balance, like, did you understand at that time, like, how powerful that would be for your life as a whole? Or did you just probably automatically say, well, okay, in this one area of my life, that's where being in balance is going to be good for? Or did you take it for all things?
The interesting thing about that, yes, because a lot of it, I think, why the Lord decided to do it through me is because in my personal household, there's a level of balance that takes place, and I can't really take credit from that. It's my wife who sets all things in order in the house, who sets the temperature in the house. And because of the temperature is set well in the house, the balance structure is set well in the house, then that whole balance structure can elude outside of the house. Because in my opinion, and through the Holy Spirit's guidance, he was saying if you don't have balance in your house, you can't have balance outside of your house. You just can't magically, okay, your house all in disarray, everything, you can't find anything. You don't know where your keys are. You don't know where your birth certificate is if you need it. You can't even have quiet time because you tripping over stuff in the house to get to your quiet time. Because the thing about it is, if you don't have balance inside your home, see, and that's why I believe it was birthed out of. You can't have it outside the home. So when he was transcribing that to my mind, I recognized it was a holistic effect. It was just not a spiritual thing. It was just not a work thing. It's just what it was in everything. It's funny because in God there's always divine order. There's always divine order. God has always set things up, like he set the church up, and he gave some apostles, some prophets, it's always divine order. And then God said, and I think it's in Corinthians, talks about, and then we need then we need everybody. It's the body of Christ. It's the whole thing. It's the whole. It's not always just the arm, or it's not the leg. He equated to a whole body, saying that the feet can't say to the eye, I don't need you because I'm not a foot, or I don't do the smelling, or I don't do the tasting. I don't need you. No, we all need everybody, and because it's a divine order and everything, it should be in a flow. That's when things turn around. That's when we talk a lot about in the book itself about how to structure things and how to create balance in your particular life, because we believe where if there's no order, there's no balance, and if there's no balance, there's no order. You need both in order to be able to function appropriately in this life.
I like that, man. I like that. Let me read something real quick. I want to read the acknowledgement, and I want to read the back cover of the book, because I just want to continue to make points about this. And once again, I got my brother Eric Thompson on the phone, minister of the gospel, author of 2 books, but the one book that we're concentrating on now is called The Balancing Act, First Things First. And here in the acknowledgement, my brother makes a very passionate and very heartfelt acknowledgement to none other than his wife that he just alluded to. And it says, this book is dedicated to my amazing wife. For more than a decade, Angela Thompson has shown me how to truly have a balanced life while maintaining a personal and intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. For this special gift, honey, I say thank you. Now, to me, man, that's huge on so many levels. Huge on so many levels. The fact that, there's like another lesson in that in and of itself, to where to give that honor to a human being, an individual, your soulmate, for all intents and purpose, a human being just like you. But it's amazing that your spirit, you see what God is doing, and it's almost to say, it takes strength to recognize, like you said earlier, that your wife sets the tone for that balance. And I just believe that's an amazing thing. Now, let me ask you this, since we're talking about it. Like, when did you really pick up on that? Like, hey, my wife is the primary, force that's setting the tone for balance in our household. Like, when did you really, really, really see that?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. And I'm gonna tell you, when we started having children, when we started being blessed of the Lord to be able to we have 3 sons and to raise them up, we had started to get we had started to get appreciation from other people, other couples, other ministries, other just people in general, on how they believe we did a certain way rearing our children. And although I had, let's say, I am the leader, or I'm overseer, or I am the head of the house, generally I couldn't take a lot of the credit for that. I recognize that most of that credit came from my wife. The structure she set in the house, or one of the chapters we in the book is called Order in the House, and because she had already established the order in the house, this is why I understood where the revelation came, how she was already walking out what God was trying to get to the people before we even birthed the book. if you're catching that.
Right.
See, and that's what God does. God already has the ability, the anointing, the talent, the acumen, the excellence, and already on the inside of you. It'll take, a Paul or somebody to lay hands on you or speak over your life or by the Holy Ghost or by or somebody to just try to get it out of it. And this is what we try to do with the Speak Rock Nation. We see that we as the overseer of this ministry that's trying to birth out things that God has placed on the inside of you without your permission and before you were born in your mother's womb. We recognize that God has ordained those things. So what go back to what you were saying, I recognized it because we were walking in it. And I recognized that I'm walking in it because she was already walking in it. And then God just used me. Oh, it's funny because every time I get before people and if I even sharing things about the books that I author, I always say we authored them because the two are one. And it's nothing that I do that she doesn't do. It's nothing that I don't that I do in ministry that she don't do in ministry. She may not be there physically, but I know she praying. I know she interceding. She may not have necessarily sat down with me in some of the intimate times with God when God was transcribing some of this stuff to put in the book in my mind, but I either bounced them off of her or just by her way it was the same thing that God was sharing with me because God was watching her when he was telling me what to write.
Man, that's good stuff. And you know what I love about this too, Eric, is that, we just, kind of covered saying like, hey, look, you're married. Well, we didn't say it in those terms, but, we was, giving credit to the fact of being in a union, in a marriage, and how God, when you decide to put things in order, how God can bless that, bless the spouse, and you feed off of that, and things are in order at the house, and then it bleeds over into the workplace and any other endeavors. But let's go ahead and expand it a little bit, because I want people to really understand. Guess what? Yeah, this just isn't even though this can be used as a tool and a resource to enhance your marriage, but guess what? If you're single, say you're a single individual, you're in an institution of higher learning, okay? You're a single individual and you're in the workplace, you're ambitious, you're a go-getter. And, what I love about it is that this book is also applicable to that individual that's going through some things. And I want you to speak on that, about how this book can be useful. But let me add to the point by reading what's on the back of your book, The Balancing Act. It says, do you feel like your life is a balancing act as you try to juggle the demands of family, faith, and work? Do you find yourself always asking, where did the time go? Do you find yourself putting off until tomorrow what you should have done today? Reading that lets me know this book is for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're married, it doesn't matter if you're single, if you're in school, if you're in the workplace, if you're in school and in the workplace, if you're a single dad, you're a single mom raising a child or children, if you don't have any children and you work and you go to school, this book is not biased or prejudiced whatsoever. It covers everybody. How do you feel about that, man?
Man, well, I mean, it's all inclusive. It's not necessarily for one genre of people, one sector or group. Right? Let me tell you how I thought this book, or God feels that this book was so important, just to people in itself. Because when we wrote the book, and there you go. See, I said we wrote the book. When we wrote the book,
that's it.
My we were asked by the top leadership in our church. We taught the book to singles. We taught the book to men's fellowship. We taught the book to marriage fellowship. This book landed, and this is not me bragging on myself or my wife or anything, but God thought this book was so important to the world. He decided to send me to Florida to speak on the book on this show called The Balancing Act, where they had millions of viewers, and it was on Lifetime television. And how that came about was none but miraculous, because it was God's way of saying, okay, I'm gonna put my stamp of approval on what you said yes to. You open up the broadcast about talking about just it's not really your ability, it's your availability with God. It's the yes that you say to God, and by me saying, yes, God, I will write this book, he said, okay, now the supernatural will happen because you said yes to me. And that's what it is. I often say, when people ask me a certain thing or about, well, I'm fearful, or I don't know how to do this, or I'm not aware of this, or I'm not educated in this. I said, well, right now, you at the least you could be in that situation. But if you step out and with God's help, then that's when the anointing comes and destroys the yoke. That's when the lepers was healed as they went. I often say, you don't really need God to intervene if you're still on the shore. But when you get in a boat and start going out in the water, and then if the winds and the waves become boisterous, then that's when you're going to need God. But you won't need God on the shore. You won't need God still in the library. You won't need God still in your mind thinking, can I do this? Can he do this? But when you started to do a certain thing, like, just me becoming an author, you talked about I was able to write 2 books. Yeah, but that was not in my goals. I never thought of myself to be an author. I never thought of myself to have stuff on the inside of me that can bless the kingdom, bless people, bless businesses, bless finances, bless homes, bless marriages, bless ministries. I never thought about that when I was coming up or when I was going to school and none of that. That was all God's way of saying, if you're available, I can use you. If you say yes, I can use you, and it's not in your talent, and it's not in anything you have. It's just whatever you have. If you give it to me, I can produce something with it. Now the thing about it is, God can produce something out of nothing, but He definitely can. If He can produce something out of nothing, He definitely can produce something out of us. And so that's what He did. He said, "Look, I know you're not an author," and I'm saying I'm not, and I'm telling God I'm not the author. And He said, "You're really not." He's the author. He's the author and finisher by faith. So this is how I was able to do it. God saw something in me that He needed to get to some other people, and God said, "Oh, if you're going to say yes, I'm going to use you to do it. You might not be perfect. You might not have it all together. You might not even be doing everything that's in this book, but through that." Through your experiences, through what the wisdom I give you, through the principles of the Word and practical principles and life experiences, I believe I can bless people around the world. Do you know? You might not know this, but and then you might. I was the interesting thing last year or year before last. I was asked to preach this very book that you're talking about in Africa. I don't see. I probably lost like 2,000 of our listeners right there. I was asked to preach this verse. See, you think this is a local thing. SpeakRoc is an international ministry. Now, I was asked to preach in the same thing on the balance. Do you know they need balance in Africa?
That's good.
They may not have all the, in all places. They might not have the, the fancy churches or the fancy of cars or most, but they still need balance. They need the balance. It's funny because I'll turn it back over to you. One of the things that the example that God gave me when I was sharing in Africa about the Balancing Act, and one of the things that I believe just kind of stuck with the church and probably there now by the Holy Ghost, I gave them an example. If it ain't time to feed the chickens, don't feed the chickens. Man, see, I don't know if anybody caught that. I don't know if anybody caught that, but it was prophetic when the Lord gave it to me in Africa. If it ain't time to feed the chickens, don't feed the chickens.
How was they looking? How was they looking at you? They was like, "Whoa, that was strong."
Man, no, the church. I think the church exploded at that time. I think that's when the anointing took off because God was speaking to them at that level. I can't talk about jets and fine cars and all of that. I had to talk about what they dealing with. If it's not time to feed the chickens, don't feed the chickens. And let me try to kind of break that down. Then you're out of order. If you feed the chickens at the wrong time, then you're out of order. You're supposed to be doing something else at that time. And those are kind of the revelation that God was giving me, even in Africa, even when we was on the show in Florida, because God thought this message was so important, and it's a perpetual message. It's not, some books can be dated. The truth of the matter, the Bible's not dated, but some books can be dated because of the revelation that you have. It may just been for that time, that dispensation, or whatever.
Right.
But with the Balancing Act, first thing first. It's not dated. It's helping with your finances. It's helping with your, it's funny because we talked about, and I know at some other point we'll get into some of the information in the actual book, but it deals with your social clubs. It deals with your business practices. It deals with your not only just raising your children and all of that in the church and all of that, but it's how do you deal with them outside of the church? How do you deal, with organizing your bills and organizing the structure of your home? So it has it has that all inclusive, like we opened up, understanding. That it's not, and it's not one of those books that is kind of talking over your head, using a bunch of, 6-syllable words and that kind of stuff, telling you about hermeneutics and all of that other stuff. No, it's a book that speaks directly to your situation. Whether I just gotta let a little bit of cat out of the bag. What it's going to be, it's going to give you a situation where you think you're doing a lot for God, and possibly you could be doing in your mind a lot for God, but then at the detriment at what cost? At whatever extent? Because God don't need a bunch of jack of all trades. So anyway, that's just kind of a little teaser for those who that think they're doing all of this stuff for the Lord, but then your house is falling apart. You're getting a divorce.
Wow.
Your children are going astray. But you're doing all this stuff for God, or you're doing all this stuff in your social organization, but then your wife is unhappy. You got all of this money, right? But sickness is all around you. So it just helps with balancing an unbalanced life, so God can get glory. People can see you and want to emulate what's going on in your life. Why are you the way? Why you furloughed now, but you still can give God glory, or you furloughed now and your house is still here it is. Your house is still running well because you were organized before the furlough, before the famine came. Before the furlough came, see, now I'm making it real practical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It may seem insensitive right now, and it may be in some ways hurt, but I'm trying to prepare you like the ants do, store up. So anyway, that's I don't know if that answers your question or not, but praise the Lord.
Man, brother, I'm sitting here soaking it up. I mean, if anybody's, got any type of wisdom in them, they have been doing the same thing that I'm doing. Sitting here and enjoying it. Receiving that wisdom. Look, we ain't even gotten to the book. And praise God, man, this is exactly what I wanted to happen. We need a taste of what's going on. We need to be introduced to what this resource is and the importance of the resource. And let me say a couple of things. And because one thing about people, okay, this is just the psychology of people. We our sensors, what we can smell, what we can see, what we can taste. We a lot of times use those to motivate us to what we want. And so I'm not beyond that. I get it. The human body, we was developed like that. But I do want to encourage everybody. We got to go deeper. Once again, this isn't so deep, so spiritually deep, like we can't get it. What I'm trying to say is get beyond just your natural senses and use that spiritual sense inside of you that, that like, man, Rock is telling me this is something that I need. Like, let me really open myself up to this and not just use my senses to believe that's why I need it. And let me explain what I'm saying. So let me just, for those who are just like, you know what, I got to see it to believe it. Like, let me see who this man is before I give all in. And that's just fact. That's just truth. So, once again, this is a brother who's a minister of the gospel. This is a brother that's an author. This is a brother that's put close to 30 years, coming up on 30 years, in basically a career. I call it a career. Some people might call it a job. I call it a career. Who's given 30 years of being faithful to an organization. That's commendable. This is an individual that's married, for, going on, what, 2 decades now, E?
Yep.
2 decades. This is a man that's successfully raising 3 children. This is a man who's been, who have started businesses. This is a man who has, traveled as a missionary, as a minister of the gospel. In all, I'm listing all of these things, not to just, well, I can brag about them. I do that. I love them like that. I'll do that. But what I'm getting at is, this is somebody who is doing multiple things. He is not just telling you something that he doesn't know, who doesn't have any experience. He doesn't have to be. This is the kind of person, I'm going to tell y'all something, Speak Rock Nation. I'm the kind of guy like, that which God is trying to teach you is all around you. And people that's around you. Not just what you see on TV or in the media, in the entertainment business or whatever the case may be. Athletes, what have you. There's somebody, put it like this. For a lot of you, for a lot of us, we're not going to ever meet Will Smith. Ever. What I'm saying is, there's some people around you that's your Will Smith plus. So in other words, there's an Eric Thompson around you that has the information, the knowledge, and the wisdom that you need. So I would caution you to, like, don't be chasing these mirages and these ideals of people. Not to say that they don't have anything to offer, but there's somebody right next to you, either in your workplace, in your church, that God has bestowed a lot of gifts upon, and God is willing to share that with you. And once again, we're talking about the book that my brother E.T. wrote, The Balancing Act, First Things First. Now, let me say this, and then we're gonna sum it up, and we're going to end it, E, with this. So let's say I'm the naysayer, right? Let's just say I'm the guy or the gal that's at work, and we making it happen. Like, like, we making it happen. Like, I got the most sales. You know, I done worked my way up to the corner office. I'm receiving accolades, you know, on a regional district level. You know, like, I'm that guy or that gal at my job. I'm killing it. And you know what? Yeah, my house isn't, you know, the wife upset at me. You know, my husband upset at me. My kids talking slick to me. You know, but, you know, it's still together. I'm still married. You know, we still married. You know, I'm making the car payment. You know, I'm paying the mortgage. You know, but there's some turmoil at the crib. And not only that, you know, I mean, as far as my personal relationships go, you know, I'm falling out with everybody. But you know what? At my job, I'm that dude or I'm that gal. I'm killing it. What do you say for a person who is like, you know what? It ain't, you know, look, it ain't me, because I'm valued at my job. Of course, I'm throwing in the scenario because I can keep going and coming with a lot of scenarios. But what do you say, E, to that person who got it going on like that, but all that other stuff, the baggage, the turmoil in the other areas of their life? What do you say to a person who's like, you know what? The rest of my life just need to catch up with how I'm killing it at my job. I hear what you're saying in this book, but I'm good.
Yeah. This is what I was...
No, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Okay, all right. You break it up a little bit, but we'll believe the spirit of the message will hit the people. But look, the thing about it is you got to pick out. Now, the entire book might not necessarily be for your entire life. You could be excellent in one area of the book that I'm trying to get at somebody, but in this other area, you could be trash. So you need to pick up where your trash is and get it towards your excellent side. Because what happened is we would do all the things that we do that we're strong at, and then start pointing the finger at other people, like, you know, because I done got over crack, I'm looking down on somebody who's on crack now. This ain't what that book is about. This ain't the book is about. It's about whatever you're weak at. That's the thing we need to work on. See, most people won't work on their weakness. They will only work on what they're strong at. And then the thing about it is, then you may be strong in this area, but then over here in this area right here, you're so anemic that it affects everything else. You know, one of the favorite scriptures, you know, in the Bible, what profits a man against the world will lose his soul, right? He was strong in an area, right? He was very strong in that area. And when you mentioned things about Will Smith, there's some nugget in this book that he could use. Now in the reverse of that, there's something that he has on his life that I can use. See, but the thing, what we're getting at is you got to find out where you're weak at, and those are the areas that we're trying to tap into. And even where you're strong at, and these are things can help you even strengthen where you're strong at as well. But, you know, because oftentimes we're good at certain things, you know, whether good at being bad, or good at being mean, or good at being hateful.
Right.
Good at being judgmental. Good at being, you know, racist. You're good, you know, you're good at it. That don't mean it's good for you. And the thing about it, and this is what this book is all inclusive. That's going to help you in particular areas that you're struggling at. You know, because I prefer to have a well balanced life, or like have a well balanced meal, versus to having lobster and shrimp every day, but then I got to go to the prison and to go see my son. See, or you know, because of something that was not balanced when you were either raising your child or whatever. And this is the thing. This is what it's about. You know, because you know, a lot of stuff we talked about raising your children. Then you say, well, my children gone, but you know, you might have nieces, you might have nephews, or you might have people, neighbors, or whatever. You know, we still tend to believe it still takes a village to raise children or whatever, raise people, or raise a nation, or raise a company, or raise a ministry, or raise a marriage. Or we tend to believe that because we recognize the powers in their agreement. So once you read it, it may not be for you because if you're already perfect, this is not a book for you. But if you flawed like me, you got some issues like me, you got some, you know, you're not doing everything right like me, all your bills ain't paid on time like me, or all your, you know what I'm saying, your garage ain't as clean as it should be like mine, or whatever, then this is a kind of a book that you need that's going to help you fix some stuff. Because it really, if you think about it, okay, it's just on a practical example, if you think about it now, if your house is in disarray, and you know, and it's funny because we had and I don't know how you want to get that out there, I don't know if you remember, but we had I had like a litmus test whether this book was for you or not. And at the beginning of the book, we talked about some questions: if this happened, if that happened, and whatever. And you know, one of the things we talked about is finding stuff in your house. Now, just think about it. You could been, got up, had some quiet time with the Lord, and whatever have you did, meditated, got up, read a book or whatever, drunk coffee and all of that, and now you're on your way to work. Okay, now you good. You real good, right? So you flowing like, you got your suit on, you ready to go, you heated the cars. No, you didn't heat the cars yet. But but this is the thing. And now you're ready to go and you can't find your keys. Mm. Now that smooth attitude that you have now, and you really can't find it. Now, if you ever been there, hey, you might need the book. You might need to read the book. Hey, check this. Hold on. Have you ever seen this? If you have been driving down the street, and I see this all the time,
right?
And you driving, you going to work, and you see somebody shaving in the car, you might need to read the book.
Wow.
Shaving in the car, you might need to read the book. Or when it's time to fill out papers for your son to get to school or whatever, and you need his birth certificate or whatever it is, his shots, did he get shots or whatever, immunization shots, and you can't find that, you might need to read the book. You know what I'm saying? So, or if you are the type of person who says yes to every opportunity, yes to every engagement, yes to everything, when all of this other stuff is falling down because you feel like they can't happen without you might want to read the book. And those are kind of some of the things that we kind of. No,
I love that, man. Can I add something too? And you tell me if it's, if I'm in the right place or not. Let's just say you are well balanced, okay? Let's say that you're running on all cylinders in your life. Not saying that it's extremely perfect, but you making it happen, right? This book can also be that tool to keep you there.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Like, it makes a whole. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's kind of like you used the analogy of the car in the very beginning. So say like after you took the car to get the tune up, you know what I'm saying? You got the tires right. The car is running good. And anybody will tell you that's a knowledgeable car individual, it's called preventive maintenance. No, your car isn't in the worst shape. Actually, your car is good. But guess what? It's still standing in need of an oil change at the prescribed time. So this preventive maintenance is going to ensure a longevity of it running well. So, I mean, I don't want to jump in your lane and steal your thunder, E, but I just wanted to know, will this resource maintain and sustain and continue to increase that which you do well?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about it a little bit. I tried to hint around to it. We talked about the furlough situation. We talked about how to strengthen what you already strengthened in already. See, this is the issue. This will help you. How do you handle the hiccup?
Oh, that's a quotable. That's a quotable. The alarms are going off. How do you handle the hiccup? That's an ET quotable. You heard it here on Speak Rock, baby. I love it.
Hallelujah. That's of the Holy Ghost. I don't know where that came from. But look, how do you handle the hiccup?
How do you handle
when things happen out of the ordinary?
That's a book, E.
Did you
That's a book.
Ooh.
That's a book right there.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Have you prepared? Are you prepared?
Wow.
And that's it. That's what we're talking about. And that's the spirit of this book. It's preparing you for what you didn't know was going to happen. And they say, well, how do you prepare when you didn't know? Because you're getting yourself structured, organized, in line, and in His will. Hey, man, you can't beat that.
Whew.
Organized, in line, structured, and in His will. I mean, you're on top then. Because this is the key. When you're in His will, He already knows the end from the beginning. So if He already knows the end from the beginning, so He sees around the corner when we can just see at the corner. You know, I'll often say, you know how sometimes, you know, you'll be in the car and you're like, man, you know, I feel strongly that I needed to go left. You know, because God knows what's right. Because a traffic jam or an accident or something going on down there that He don't want you to turn that way. This is what this book is about. Oh man, this is what this book is about. It'll help you to make those right decisions when you know things seem to pop up. You know, she's structuring your life. Man, we all need a little structure. I need it. I need to keep reading it. You know, there's some tests I be still failing from it. Because this is the key. It's not mine. It's God's way of getting the information to the people. I was just a vehicle. I'm not the balancer. Oh man, was that good?
Good.
I'm just the vehicle. He's the balancer. And that's the wisdom that He gave through this teaching in this book called The Balancing Act, First Things First.
Man, oh my God. Man, I almost fell off my chair, bro. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Look, here's the deal, people. Once again, my brother Eric Thompson, author of the book called The Balancing Act, First Things First. And look, once again, I'm going to put the link in the description because we need to get a hold of this. Now, E, if I'm not mistaken, is this just in written form? This is just in a publication?
No, you can get this thing digital. You can get it digital when you go to Amazon. Amazon, you get it digital. Boom, get it right to your e-reader.
There we go. There you go.
Man, look, you have it right there, right at your disposal. We go line by line, precept by precept.
There you go.
The thing you read the same thing. There you go. Matter of fact, most people want it that way now.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sure do. I mean, I know I get down like that. But you, my man, I got to see it. Like, I got an autographed copy, y'all. So, you know, I'm in like that. But the thing is that, look, what we're gonna do next week. We're gonna go and get right into it. We're gonna get into chapter 1. And here's the deal, y'all. It's an easy read, man. I'm looking at it right now. It's 135 pages. Like, and that's easy. That, for most people, that's a day read, but the fact of the matter is, once again, like my brother E said, not only, even if you got this done in a day, it's such a tool that this is a lifelong tool. It won't outdate it. It would never get outdated. This is a continual, resource, it's like the sun, and, it's like a perpetual energy source. It just continues. So look, hey, I'm going to tell you like this. I know I was, it fell upon my spirit to bless somebody with not just this one book that Eric wrote, his other book, God Pleaser. And, I gifted it. And matter of fact, I gifted it to a college student So I'm telling y'all now, if y'all ready to make something happen, y'all want to make an impact in somebody's life, I'm going to send y'all the link. I'm going to put the link in the description. Y'all need to go ahead and get ahead, get on top of this and get this book. Like my brother E said, it's digital. You know what I'm saying? They got the Amazon deal, and you can just go ahead and download it and make it happen. So look, we're going to get into it. And, the first chapter we're going to get into, and that first chapter is called Developing Your Relationship with the Father. Now, that should have been enough right there to excite y'all and to say, you know what, let me go ahead and get in when it gets good and get in on this first chapter. And what we're going to do, we're going to discuss. We're just going to have conversation, and we're going to listen to some teaching about this first chapter. And you don't want to miss it. Then the beautiful thing about this is that, there's 10 chapters. So guess what? We're going to cover them all. And you put it like this. Just like all things, get connected to the SpeakRoc platform. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's all the same handle, at SpeakRoc, SPEAKROC. And here go the beauty about this. On the YouTube channel, you're going to be able to catch this, and you're going to be able to listen to it over and over and over again. It's SpeakRoc. Just go to YouTube, type in SpeakRoc, SPEAKROC, and you're going to be able to catch this. Once again, the balancing act, first things first, with my brother Eric Thompson. Hey, man, it's a great show, brother. I appreciate it.
Man, that's a hallmark. But I'm going to leave with this, too, because I think sometimes I may get the impression that when I do a certain thing, or when I write a certain thing, or when I perform a certain thing, or whatever, it gives only the good of it. Man, they don't know. When they read this book, it's going to be a testament of God's grace in my failure, in my disobedience, in my overzealousness to do a certain thing outside the will of agreement. Man, I don't want to give it all away, but I hope they could learn from some of my mistakes, and this is what this book is all about.
That's what's up, man. That is what's up. Hey, look, man, we're going to make it happen, man. I'm excited. I'm already ready to get into it. But, hey, look, this is your brother, SpeakRoc, with my brother, E.T., the extraordinary teacher. Hey, it's been fun, y'all, but we got to go. Hey, just remember this. I'm a brother from Detroit. What do I know? I might know a little, might know a lot. I might not know anything, but in either event, we can live, laugh, and learn. And, we going to make it happen. Hey, God bless y'all, and we out. Peace.
We out. Peace.